Hello Lightworkers, welcome to Friday. I do hope that you've had a lovely week and that you're looking forward to having a great weekend. Today I would like to talk about manipulation in general, and hypnosis. I'll see you on the other side. When I worked in textiles, the job that I had was to work with people. It was to get people to do what I needed them to do because I had a plan to achieve. And so my job was to manipulate people's opinion so that they would do what had to be done. Okay? And I recall having a conversation with my ex, and she was calling me a manipulator, okay? And I said, yes, I am a manipulator, but I manipulate for the good, okay? And of course she poo-pooed that, as anybody would who knows the word manipulation. Manipulation is a very maligned word. It's a word that we don't like. We don't want to be manipulated. We don't want somebody to fiddle with our minds and play with our minds. The issue that we have is that every waking moment of our life involves some kind of manipulation. Everybody, in every conversation that they have, is trying on some level to manipulate the other person. Now I know that that's probably hard to hear. Well, I don't manipulate people. I don't want to manipulate people. And that's because we're misunderstanding what the word manipulate means. Manipulate is purely getting somebody to see something in a way that we want them to see it. So when you tell a good story, you are manipulating people's minds to take the idea of that story. When you are arguing your point, and I don't mean arguing, but like working your point, you are manipulating the person's perception to accept the arguments that you're presenting. Okay? When you say to somebody, don't worry, everything's going to be all right. You watch. Everything's going to work out really nicely. You are manipulating that person. You are on purpose doing your best to make that person feel better. Okay? So, manipulation truly is neither good nor bad. Manipulation is what it is. It's a tool. It's a tool, a God-given tool that we've all been given. And our choice is, how do we want to use that tool? Yeah? Do we want to use it for good? And do we want to use it for bad? For example, in this channel, twice a week, I talk to you. And I, at all times, have the intention, the highest intention, I've got to say, of manipulating you into feeling better, into understanding things better, into being okay, yeah? Knowing that we're together, knowing that you're not alone. This is all manipulation, but for the highest good. And so, one of the things that we find in our modern day world is that we are constantly being manipulated for the good, with the people that love us, the people who respect us, the people who want the best for us, and for the bad, for everybody who wants to sell us something that isn't true, who wants to get us to buy something that we don't need, who wants to get us to believe something that isn't true. Okay? And so we are under a constant barrage of manipulation. Constant barrage. Now, the great thing is, when you become awake, okay, not woke, but awakened. Once you have awakened, what happens is the scales fall from your eyes and you suddenly start to see the stark manipulation that is around us in the areas that you've woken up to. But understand that for every bit of manipulation that you see, there are multiple bits of manipulation that you're not seeing, that are just the norm, that you've seen so many times that it doesn't look like manipulation anymore. I practice hypnotherapy, and in the many courses that I've done on hypnotherapy and hypnosis, I am taught to use language in a very specific way to what is called to bypass the critical factor of people's minds. This is like the guardian on the gate that says, no, that's bullshit, I'm calling bullshit, I'm calling bullshit. In hypnosis, what you're aiming to do is to get past that guardian, to make the guardian sit down and have a cup of coffee. Basically, that's why you put people into trance. And while the guardian of the gate is down, having a tea break or a coffee break, then you give manipulated sentences. I'll give you an example of a manipulated sentence. For example, I could say to you, so now that you're thinking about that, okay, that's complete and utter myth. Now that you're thinking about that. Now, the now is this command, I want your attention. Now, not later, now. That you are thinking about that. I have no idea whether you're thinking about that. But by very dint of fact that I've said, now that you're thinking about that, perhaps you can begin to see just how important that change is that is happening already. Okay, so that's a very manipulated sentence. So I'm getting your attention with the now. I'm telling you what you're thinking. I don't know. I'm telling you what you're thinking. I'm manipulating you. And then perhaps you can begin to see, and that's a command, that's an embedded command. You can begin to see. Forget the perhaps. You can begin to see that this is a change that's very important. That this is a change that's happening now. Okay? So basically I'm telling you what has to happen in your mind. Okay? That's stark manipulation. But I do it so that I help people. I'm always aiming to put great suggestions into people's heads to make them feel better about themselves, to feel more capable, more upbeat, happier. Yeah? To believe in themselves. So that's my point, is that the manipulation is neither good nor bad. However, I want you to start looking at your life, looking at what's around you, and start analysing on a level the information that's coming to you on all levels, and what people are telling you. I'll give you an example, a very classic example. I don't know whether you've ever noticed this, but you can say to somebody, so how does that feel then? And they answer you like this. They say, well, you feel really bad, don't you? You feel disappointed with life. Now, you've asked them, how does that feel? You want their opinion. Now, the real answer should be, I feel really bad and I feel disappointed. Okay? But what people do is to distance themselves. They don't want to be involved in bad and disappointed. So what they do is they tell you what you feel. Now, when somebody says to you, you feel really bad, don't you? Now that is a hypnotic command. You feel really bad, don't you? When you nod your head, when you say, yes, you've just accepted that command. You've accepted that hypnotic command. Okay? That's just one example of the many, many ways that we are manipulated by everything around us. Everything. I remember seeing an advert on the Co-op window, and it was an advert for toothpaste. And there was a beautiful family, 2 children, the perfect, ideal family, a blonde mum, a thin, fit man, 2 children. They're all jumping in the air with their feet up and like this, and the biggest smiles ever. Yeah. And I looked at that and I thought, wow, how about that for manipulation? So what that advert was telling us is, if you want to be a happy family, if you want to be good looking, if you want to be healthy, if you want to have the energy that makes you jump up in the air just for the sake of jumping up in the air, all you need to do is buy this toothpaste. Okay? And this is, how can I put it? I have spent over the last 10 years learning about manipulation and hypnosis and all of that. I think I probably spent, let's say, £3,000 on courses and everything like that, so that I can work with somebody and help them by manipulating the situation, manipulating the thoughts, help them to get into a better place. Okay, 3,000 I've spent. Do you know the budgets that multinational companies have to advertise? Billions upon billions they spend on advertising. Billions upon billions. Do you think that their top people, the people who decide on how to advertise, do you think that they may have done a few courses? A few more than I have? I can see it. Not everything, but I'm aware. Once you understand what's happening, when you understand that everything that's coming your way is potentially there to manipulate you, then your guardian on the gate becomes stronger. And that's what you've got to make. You see, it doesn't mean that you're never going to be able to be manipulated again, because sometimes we give permission for people to manipulate us. When you were listening to me and you were nodding saying that resonates with me, you were giving me permission to manipulate your thoughts. There's nothing wrong with that. And if I were talking to you, I would give you permission to manipulate my thoughts as well. This is what we do when we're chatting with this. We're nodding away. Yes, I accept that. Okay? But our guardian, for when we're not talking about a close personal friend who we trust implicitly, our guardian on the gate needs to be strong. We need to question everything. And one of the ways that we can protect ourselves is literally that. Question everything. The question is, what is making me believe this or not? What is true about this? Is this true? And obviously you have to go through a little process. Is this true? Based on what? People jumping up in the air because of the toothpaste. Based on what? Based on F all. Yeah? Happiness does not come via toothpaste. I know, because I've been using toothpaste all of my life, and there have been times when I've been really unhappy. So this is the critical thinking process that we need to get into, because there are some groups of people who do not have our interests at heart. They don't have our best interests at heart. They want to manipulate us into becoming exactly the type of person that they want. I'll give you an example. Right, so you know that they say that if you tell a lie enough times it becomes the truth, okay? This is exactly what I'm talking about. When people start accepting the lie, it becomes truth. The only way they can accept the lie is by manipulation. So, I've told you the story that because of this, 5 of my family members have been in hospital. A new addition, which is my daughter's cousin on a mum's side of the family, is now in a coma, an induced coma, because she had that, she collapsed, couldn't breathe, they've induced a coma. Okay, so I don't know what's happening with my family, but my guess is if it's happening with my family, it's happening with a lot of families. Okay, one of my relatives knows exactly what's happened. They know all about what's happening with my family here in Spain. And yet I had a conversation and they said, yeah, these were her words. She said, yeah, it seems, yes, this has some problems, but it seems that it's working. Right, that was the first thing that stood out. Now, I don't know if you know, but for everybody who's had that, when they have the test, yeah, when they have the test, they have reduced the cycles from 35 to 40 down to something like 18 or maybe 28. I don't know. No, I think it's lower than that. Right? They've reduced them. Why? Because when you reduce them, you get negatives. Okay? But they're only reducing them for those who've done that. So what's happening is people are having this, they're being tested, negative. And therefore it's working. Right, so this is coming through on the media. Right, this manipulation through the media message. It's working. Look, the tests, the cases are going down. Now we all know that the cases are a load of bollocks. Yeah? The test, the PCR test is a load of bollocks. Okay? But they don't know that. The people who are starkly manipulated, the zombies, the hypnotized. And so she said that. It's working. So number one, manipulation by the media. Number two, manipulation. And she said, look, with every medication, there is a cost. And of course, there's a cost. Okay? And I was blown away by that. I was so absolutely horrified by that. And I thought, what an effing good job they have done. Because the person I was talking to is fully aware of my opinion. I have chapter and versed it. Okay? But because she watches the television all of the time and she is completely hypnotized and manipulated by this, she was capable of saying that this is the message, okay, that's coming out. Yes, people are dying, but it's a cost that we have to shoulder, all right, for the greater good. And this is I've heard this message coming out various times, and people are swallowing it down. And at the time, because it wasn't the right moment, and I've learned to shut my mouth. What I wanted to say to her was, yeah, that cost, it's very easy to talk about, isn't it? The cost. When you use it like that, because that's talking about money. We're not talking about money, we're talking about people's lives. And if it was your grandson, if it was your daughter, if it was your husband, would you use the word cost? And would you say that it was okay? It's something that we have to shoulder for the greater good. And this is where the manipulation of the media is taking people. It's taking them to a place, just like we've seen many times before, when people say, how is it that so many people could have been killed in the Second World War? Yeah? Under the name of cleansing, whatever you want to call it. Okay? When people were asked, they tolerated it because it was for the greater good. It was sold as something good. The death of millions of people. And yet we look at that time and go, oh, that was terrible. How we would never go back there. How on earth could people do that? It's disgraceful. And then in my own kitchen, I hear somebody justifying the deaths of people. Healthy people. Not sick people. Healthy people. To get to that place, they've had to be manipulated to such an extent that they are willing to give up their morals. They are willing to give up their values and replace their values and morals with the shittest, most upside down, topsy-turvy, horrible, cruel values. But it's possible. It's possible. And why? All you need are this. You need from the television the waves that they give you, which put you automatically into hypnosis. So we've calmed things down. Okay? The guardian on the gate has gone for a cup of coffee. And then we give you these hidden suggestions. Yeah, it's terrible, yeah. But people are dying. Yeah? Lovely expression. But people are dying. Something we've got to do. And there's a cost to it. Of course there is. There always is. With every medication, there's a cost to it. And when people go, yes, there is a cost to it. With every medication, this is the case. And then they go away with this new program running and they spew it out. Every time somebody questions it, they spew it out. Yeah, but there's always a cost, isn't there? Yeah. So, manipulation. We have never been manipulated as much as we're being manipulated now. And those who watch the television are lost. They are a lost cause. They are a lost cause. Somebody once said in a video that, and I didn't understand at the time, they said, if all televisions were broken, if the televisions disappeared, all problems would disappear in the world. And I went, whoa, that's a bit exaggerated, isn't it? That's a bit of a manipulation of information. Now I believe that entirely. The television is the worst thing that exists on this earth right now, I believe, because it channels evil. So, what's the point of this? Please start looking at every element of your life and ask the question, what do I think about this? Is this true? You see, if we just accept everything to be true, doesn't matter what. Yeah, my father-in-law says, oh, the water in Madrid is the best water in the whole of Spain. All right? I've done a test. It's dirty water. When I go to drink it, because I filter my water, when I go to drink the water over in their house, it stinks of bleach. But he truly believes it. Why? Because they've told him it over and over and over again. And he nodded his head, and his little guardian went for a cup of coffee, and he said, yeah, absolutely. This is the best water in the whole of Spain. Okay? How many things have we been told that we believe, because that's what we've been told, as certainly as children growing up, that are not true? As Michael Tellinger and Lloyd Pye said, everything that you have been told is a lie. Work from that premise. That isn't true, by the way. But work from that premise of everything that is being told to me is a lie. If you work like that, you're going to keep yourself safe and you're going to question everything. Right? And it might be a pain in the arse for other people. And other people go, oh man, just get over yourself and just, stop being so serious about everything. Okay? No. Be deadly serious, because lives are at stake now. And be deadly serious. Take care of yourself. Protect yourself. Keep the guardian all times on guard. Yeah? Even when I'm talking to you. Question what I'm saying. Don't take it as read that what I say is the right thing. I'm just human. I make mistakes. Just as everybody does. Okay? So always question everything. And remember that not everybody has our best interests at heart, and even those who have our best interests at heart could be spouting manipulation that they've been given and they've been taught to pass on. Okay, so we've got to be ever so careful. All right, have a lovely weekend, and I'll see you on Monday.